Hey you guys, I wanted to just turn the camera on this morning and film while I was doing my makeup, which this is kind of like, look, you guys know when we do get ready with me's, I know like we've done this for so long. We've done every type of makeup look. Basic fall, it's the same every year. They all look the dang same. But I wanted to show you what I truly do every day, which looks like kind of like, my typical vibe, because I know the colors that work well for me. We know the products, like by now, we're good, but with a little bit of a twist, like a little bit of, some different shades, some like this deeper blush color that almost can double as a contour sometimes. Like if you just want to do it real quick, this is so beautiful for fall. We typically think of like richer colors. You might see today on my Instagram, I was posting another fall look that kind of has this same basic like base, but I used a red lip. You think like bold lips, the brown lips, the wine lips, but day to day, that's not like a look that I'm like going for. I'm not trying to like pull a look every day. I want like natural skin, glowy. I've got this highlighting product that's kind of an old favorite, but that is kind of having a resurgence. It just makes your skin look so like bouncy and glowy and healthy and like very comfortable. So anyways, you guys, I'm going to show you kind of what I do for this fall look. You think, like again, matte, oranges, burgundies, very, just a lot of times powdery, to be honest with you, but that's not what I like to do. I wanted to do like an everyday fall, like glowy look. And it's really easy, and I'm using so many great products. And you might notice that I'm posting this on a Saturday instead of my typical Friday, because I wanted this to coincide with a sale. I'm really talking so much about this foundation lately. It's by far my favorite, so much better than the Luminous Silk. It's like the Luminous Silk it's exactly like the Luminous Silk if it wore longer, held up longer, and had like a little better coverage. This is just like, if I were gonna create the perfect foundation, this would be it. I love it, but it's on sale. It's 20% off today. So I will link below to where you can get that. And along with all my other like Lancome stuff that I'm using. But I wanted to do a little something different. So head to my Instagram and you can kind of see just a quick basic look where I'm using just simple, I didn't really do the most on my eyes, but just sort of perfected skin. And, some warmer tones, but with a red lip, which I think is really pretty for fall. But this is kind of like another version just of like a glowy everyday, using products that if you've watched my videos for a while, maybe you already have. It's one of our favorite eyeshadows. And I'm going to talk about why I love to use that type of eyeshadow in the fall when the air might be a little drier. It's just good stuff. So anyways, you guys, I hope that you enjoy it. I love just sitting and chatting with you guys. And as I'm getting ready, I'm going to be answering a few more of the questions that some of you guys asked, I think a few weeks ago when I did the Q&A video. I only obviously got to a few of those, and I got to a few more this time. There's still a lot more, but I feel like they kind of just naturally in this video, the questions that I saw that I hadn't answered were a lot about like, just positivity, like mindset things, maybe like, tips on like investing in your future and like investing in yourself, and how, things that you asked me like, okay, well, what would you have told yourself at 20 or at 30 or, whatever. And I think there's a lot of good positivity in this one, and a lot of good things that I feel are just positive and good mindsets, like going into any new season. But I hope that you guys enjoy it, and hang out with me and let's get ready. All right, so what I've done, I did my eye cream, which I had a whole bunch of these from like this little kit that I got. That was like this little sample kit from where I go like get my injectables and stuff, like my dermatologist office. Instant Bright from Skin Medica. It's a good eye cream. And then this I have been obsessed with. I feel like we need to talk about some of the skincare stuff during this. This replaced probably the most expensive like skincare product that I use, which was that Skin Medica Advanced Plus. Is that what it was called? Oh my gosh, what was it called? You guys know what I'm talking about. That stuff like transforms your skin. I would try not to use it, and just to be like, okay, Tiffany, it's like $350, like calm down, or however much it was. you could tell such a difference. Like it tightens, it makes, whoa, I forgot I have my hoops on. It makes your skin like glow, and I feel like it keeps it clear. Anyways, I Googled an alternative, and this bounce back serum was it. And when I read about it, it's called like the Botox alternative, which I haven't gotten Botox in so long. Like it's long gone. It's been like maybe 8 months. I don't even know. But I've just been holding off, you know, and I'm probably not going to get it for a long time. I don't know. Like I love it. I'm sure I'll get it again at some point, but but you know, we kind of talked about that, but this is good. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I want to get into all this. And then I use this, the Bloom Meltdown face cream, which I think is around like 28 or 30 bucks. And I just absolutely love it. I have been using such expensive face creams, and I just thought, you know, I want to like really do my research and like get some good stuff. And this is like my second one, maybe second one, I think. And it's just so good. Hydrates for 24 hours, provides blue light protection, packed with ceramides to protect your skin's natural barrier, so you don't get that crepiness. You just feel kind of like plump and juicy all the time. So I'd already applied that because I've been out for a little bit, and you know, I gotta put all that stuff on first thing. Okay, so let's get into it, you guys. Oh my gosh, I feel like it has been so long since we did one of these, but even more so than that, like when we do these, usually I'll just like turn the camera on and just like listen to a podcast like while I'm getting ready, as I do normally in the mornings. And then later, you know, I'll go back and do the voiceover. But I kind of think it's fun just to talk as we go. Okay, this foundation, you guys, I don't know if you can, oh my gosh, so good. It's the one that I've been showing a lot. And if I time this correctly, because usually I post on Fridays, I think I'm gonna post this video on Saturday to coincide with the deal that you can get this for 20% off. This is better than the Armani Luminous Silk. It's better than the Clinique Acne Solutions. It's better than, name any foundation that has been my holy grail. This is it. Okay, this is so good. If you like the Armani Luminous Silk, that is what this is the most similar to as far as finish. However, it holds up better than that one. It has kind of a natural matte finish, but still like glowy. You know what I mean? Not too shiny, not too glowy, just natural skin. And I always say, like, you know, I don't like a matte finish, like matte, because that's not a natural skin finish, you know what I mean? You can tell like when someone's had like just tons of makeup on, you know, and you can just see it, and that's fine. But I think sometimes we mistake like coverage for being like matte, or even like long wear as being matte, and that's just not the case. So this stuff is so amazing. I just love it so much. And I'll put my shades and everything below, but the 10 Needle Ultra Wear, so good. Probably shouldn't put these hoops on yet, but I'm like, I need a little something. You put on hoops and it just like transforms you. And oh my gosh, I want to talk about, oh my gosh, so many things to talk about, but these necklaces, I couldn't decide on which one I wanted to wear. I've been wearing this one so much, the teardrop one, so beautiful. And this cross, I couldn't decide, so I put them both on, and now I'm like, let's leave one together. But this brand, the Melinda Maria, like, I'm not kidding, the way that she does her diamonds, I mean, they're not real diamonds, I think she calls them like diamondettes, so good. I love this foundation because like you can put it around your eyes and everything. Some foundations that have certain ingredients or that are like, you know, too matte or too, sometimes I'm like, you can't put that around your eyes. I like to do that so you're not piling on so much concealer. But yeah, but grab this because it's 20% off all the Lancome products. And I'm actually using a few Lancome products, but I'll link to this. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna link to a post where it's like, all my links below are always LTK, but you know, like they're direct links, but this will be like a direct link to where like you can see all the products, and then those are direct links, okay, you feel me? But you can do that and then you'll go to where you can get the 20% off. You really don't even need much else because it builds so well, and it actually really covers your imperfections, the foundation. But I really love that concealer, which I will link to as well. It's the concealer that goes with the foundation, but I have been using this for years, and it's just the best. It's so good. I have just a little bit of the Armani My Luminous Silk concealer, which is a little darker in shade than the Lancome one, so I've been just trying to like use the rest of this up. But I really find that this is just the best. This all over wear, it's nice because This isn't sponsored. Like, I mean, this isn't, you know, I've been talking about that foundation, which I'm so glad I did because I discovered a new fave. But I've used that concealer for a long time, and it's cool because, you know, I always say I need a different concealer for under my eyes when it's more nourishing than I would use on like a breakout prone area of my skin. This one's called All Over Concealer, and I'm not kidding, like it truly is. Like it works well under your eyes, on your face, wherever. And then with the shade of this one, it's just a little lighter, you know, so I think it's kind of nice just to put a little there. I remember we used to do this all the time back when I first started doing makeup videos. I'd always put a little dab of that product here, and it was like a triangle. I'd make that little triangle, you know what I mean? And so you can just kind of do that by adding a little dot, and it really just lights up your whole face. And I find with concealer, especially a lighter color concealer, or any concealer at all, putting it way up under the eyes or like close to the lash line where you do probably have more like wrinkling or creping, that really accentuates that area, like especially a lighter color. So I think sometimes rather than even like covering that area so much, like right under the eyes, take a product that's a little lighter and just put it here, right below like where you would circle, like touching almost your circles and not getting it further up. And it just like really corrects and really brightens. It feels kind of dark in here. I wanted to do this because first of all, I'll link to everything. If I'm using things and talking and, you know, not addressing what they are, everything will be linked below, as always. But I wanted to do this because I have been so into fall makeup and all of that. And I, you know, I've been wanting to share just like a fall makeup look, and all of the videos and most of the posts that I do, you know, my makeup is kind of similar, and I feel like I kind of do a fall look most of the time anyways, but I feel like just the basic fall look is basic. We've seen it so many times, but I do think there's something to it. You know, it's like the warm colors are so flattering. It's so cozy. You could have this like base of like, you know, really good skin and good makeup, and then you can add whatever you want to it and do like a bolder lip. So this product I didn't use today. I just kind of went straight in with the foundation, like just right over my moisturizer, which is what I do a lot of days. This is real good, and I was gonna show it, but I just kind of went for it. But it's the 24-hour hydrating solid smoothing primer. I am not someone that wants to put layers and layers. You guys know that. This is so good because, I mean, this is something that I found and just like was obsessed with. You just use your fingers, use whatever, use your sponge, and before you do your foundation, like, you know, the step where you use your primer, I just put a little on my beauty blender like that, and I put it under my eyes right here, maybe a little here and a little here. I mean, there's nothing to it, you guys. You can't see it when you apply it. I mean, I just hate that I didn't show up or whatever. I just wanted to mention that. It really makes the makeup look smooth and kind of like locks it in. So that's a good product. Can't believe I didn't use it. Gosh, we started school this week. We always start the day after Labor Day. I've just been using with my little stick here. I just kind of put it here, and I feel like it helps blend better rather than just like drawing it on and then smearing it around. I feel like this kind of like retains what's beneath it more. Do you guys ever find that like you use these stick products and then it's like, okay, but now it's like totally just wiped off my foundation? And yes, it does. So this is a good way to do it. I just kind of, as I need it, I go like that. And I'll put all my shades and everything. This is amazing. This won't break you out. A little on my brow bone. But it does feel good to get back in the groove. And while, you know, my mind was just so set on like summer and being in that mode, I don't know, I'm just like, okay, back to school. The weather needs to catch up around here. It's like hotter than it was like dead of summer. I mean, this is literally dead of summer now. In the South, it's always so much hotter, like right at the end. Oh my gosh, it kills you. You'd think it'd be like, you know, in the middle or, you know, no, it is just miserable. So I'm so excited for it to get cooler. But you see, it just kind of like livens up your skin without doing harsh contouring, but you get the same effect. So love that. Okay. I have some more questions that I didn't answer from the last video. Okay, so aging, what are the most important things to start with? Okay, again, like good skincare products, I think, is honestly the best thing you can do. washing your face. You know, I've heard people say, oh, don't wash your face. No, you gotta wash your face or you're gonna get like clogged pores. You'll think, oh, my skin's not breaking out, but your texture probably sucks and you don't even realize it. Use like a really gentle cleanser, like a creamy cleanser. It's not about like, you know, when people say they don't like to cleanse or whatever, it's really just like, okay, you don't want to strip your skin, which never. I never have my skin ever feel squeaky clean, but I cleanse it twice a day. You know what I mean? So that's a good tip. I have one by Bloom that I've been really loving. A cleanser like that, that's more like creamy. Because I do think cleaning your skin is important. You want to get the bacteria off and stuff. But moisturizing, I'm not kidding, like this, okay, use something with some peptides. You know, people say, okay, tretinoin, you want to use retinol, that's the gold standard. Not everyone can use that. I'm not sensitive to it and that it makes my skin peel or, you know, typical things where people say they can't use a retinol. Mine breaks out. And I know that's the opposite of what you think it should do. I've had 2 dermatologists say, and there's retinols in certain things, but just not like a medical grade one for me. Like I can't really handle that. And I've said that so much, but people ask all the time, like what, you know, but you can get the benefits of what you would think you would get from like a tretinoin and a retinol, you know, that glowy, just smooth skin from using other things. And that's kind of what I've always done. And if, you know, I know you guys have followed my skincare advice for a lot of years, and some of you guys, and hopefully you kind of know what I'm talking about, but I don't change up my products often at all. It's usually just the same kind of formula, but you know, I'll replace it with something similar but better. That's kind of what happened here. Something with peptides, but I think finding products that are moisturizing and anti-aging, amazing, and a physical exfoliant. Chemical exfoliants, amazing, but physical exfoliants is what's gonna really help your texture, almost help even more with like fine lines and wrinkles and pores, okay? And I love the Lancer scrub, that's always been my favorite. This product that I just used is so cool. It's those cream blushes that I love, but this is a darker color, almost like a bronzy or mauve color, and it's called Fox, which I think is just the perfect color for fall. So I put a little here, you know, just typical blushy areas. So that's already kind of like feeling a little. Let's go ahead and finish the whole, like the skin part before we do the eyes. This is a stick that I never really was in love with for years. I've had a couple of them, and I guess I was just more into like highlighting powders or maybe not using a ton of like cream products. And I thought this thing, it just looks greasy and too shiny, but now I really love it. It's the Chanel sculpting stick, and she's kind of having a moment. I feel like, who is it? Like not Hailey Bieber. Oh my gosh. What's the girl that just wears like clothes like everybody else and everyone, oh, quiet luxury. Who's her name? Sophia Richie. Okay, let me tell you. I think she's the one that talked about this, and they were hard to find for a while, but you know, you can kind of draw it on, but I like to, again, I've been using this for everything. I just love this brush, and it just kind of adds like a pretty pearly sheen, but almost like a more of a wet look, but I put it here and then I kind of bring it a little further down to your cheekbones, you know, a little bit on the nose. But this is just beautiful. I really feel like it makes your skin look nice and kind of gives you that effect like in photos where it just looks kind of smooth and like glowy without looking like powdery pearl highlighter, which is I'm not a fan. But again, too, with aging, I think using products like that aren't drying, I think what we don't realize a lot of times is like our makeup is really aging us. Like if you are putting, not just in how it looks, but if you're putting, you know, powders in this area every day, or if you're using like a really drying concealer, it's like, why even use eye cream? You know, it's like we're sucking the life out of our skin. I don't think we even realize it. So, you know, using good products, really, really big deal. And that's how I discovered this Clear Stem stuff, because you guys remember I used to always link to that website where you could run all your products through, like just copy and paste any ingredient list and it would tell you if they're gonna break you out. That was this website, and I had never bought their products. This is good, this bounce back serum, so good. Okay, sorry, I'm a little congested today. It's like, okay. But with fall, I feel, you know, it might be the opposite. We used to think heavy makeup, heavy, you know, this, that, what. I like a more like glowy, just, and maybe that's just the, you know, the trend now, but I don't know. I feel like I've done this for a while. It's just kind of been what I've loved, and kind of more simple, and start with a good base, then you can add anything to it. Now, two different eyeshadow palettes that I think if you have these, you truly probably need nothing else. The Rowan Gold Lust, you can just use your fingers and go to town. And then the Elia Warm Nude, the Necessary Eye Palette. This is amazing if you prefer powders. And I'm just back and forth on which one I want to use today. But I'm just gonna do this. The Gold Lust is just my favorite. Okay, so anti-aging, and you know, it's not even about like finding, you know, or fighting aging and, oh, I don't want to age. I love it. And I think, you know, aging gracefully, try new things, and, you know, using Botox, maybe experimenting, maybe not using it as much, you know, using what works for you. I'm not trying to change how I look. It's more about not changing your, you know, oh, I'm not going to age, so I'm going to change this. It's just, I think, caring for your skin. You know, I think you can do a lot of things that are more like skincare based. You can do treatments, you can do like different kind of facials and stuff, but I've got to say I am not like a high maintenance girly when it comes to most anything beauty, which is odd. I like to do everything myself, which I know is kind of crazy, from like hair to even like nails, because I just don't want to depend. I don't know. There's a time and a place, of course, if you need your hair colored a certain way, if you need, but I think there's a lot of things we can do ourselves, and that includes like skin. And, you know, I'm not paying for super or relying on super expensive treatments that you'll get like once in a blue moon that may not really like last long term, you know? I like to do things on my own and really just do things day to day that care for my skin. So I just love this eyeshadow palette, and it's like one of those where it's like, okay, this is summertime makeup, it's fall makeup, it's whenever, it's just so beautiful. You know, we have a trip coming up and it's like, you don't even have to bring brushes, you know? This is almost like a powdery color. So these are creams, but this powdery color, almost like you just use it at the very end, and it's like a sparkle, and it kind of deepens the color, but I feel like it kind of sets it too. And you just put it on. Low maintenance. And again, with aging, these things that we just don't question, like the blending, the this, the that, you know, every day, it's not the best thing to do. You know, pat your eye cream on with a ring finger so delicately, but then we're going to town with brushes on the most, like this skin right here is probably even more delicate than what's down here. And so I do like these. I like the cream formula. I like that you're just dabbing it on. And then you could even use a little brush if your finger can't get under there just so, but take your finger and go right under like where your lower lash line or your lower lashes kind of cup over. But yeah. And then with this, I mean, this is the same vibe. You've seen me do my eyeshadow so much over the years, but this is kind of the same vibe. Like you can take a big fluffy brush and just use the natural colors, you know, deepen it up, put that on the lid. It's just, it's so easy. But I don't know, between those two, that's what I grab every day. And hopefully, you know, if you guys have been watching my videos for a while, you've probably already picked those up. And that's the thing, like we do get it, I feel like we get it right. Like we don't need to be buying, you know, just palette after palette and stuff after stuff. My light keeps going out on my makeup mirror. These Simple Human makeup mirrors, can I rant? I never hear anybody say anything bad about them. I have fully used this thing for years and I love it. I used to have one years and years ago that stopped charging. So I was like, okay. And I think I did like a warranty thing where they replaced it with a different color. Well, then years ago during the anniversary sale, I bought this one, and it's probably like a good 5-6 years old. So I mean, I fully probably put this thing like to work, okay? And the cool toned light went out, but the warm ring went on, or, you know, it still works. And I'm just like, oh, so I feel like half the time I'm using like, what is the warm one for? Like evening makeup? I never use the warm setting on any makeup mirror. I just don't like that. Like just, no, I just want it bright so I can see what I'm doing, not to like trick me into putting on like more or less for nighttime. But anyways, the thing is like, always been wonky with charging again. That's the thing, but the light went out. But your Simple Human makeup mirrors, do you have a time charging that thing? Like you'll charge it all night and then it'll still show up red, and then you'll have it plugged in. You can't get it to turn on. It's just a mess. And yet I still love it and I use it. And they are like $350. And I'm like, I don't want to buy another one of these things. I'm just going to buy like a different brand. But anyways, I use the Barbarella Brown, which is one of my favorites. And I just, you know, just close to the lash line. And a lot of times I think using just like no eyeshadow at all is pretty good. But y'all know my trick. I always like to go back with a liquid liner. And this is the art liner, which, oh my gosh, I had not had one of these in so long. You guys remember, we used to be obsessed with the Lancome art liner. The other day I did a look that was just very like perfected skin, like red lip, and I just like used a little bit of this and it was so good. Okay, where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years? Okay, you know, I think, okay, let's get deep. Goals are so important because if you don't have a goal, if you're not like, you know, motivated just to get up every day and to like do your best and to like do things, yeah, you want to work for things, I guess is my point. But I read this thing the other day and this kind of sums up how I feel I am in a lot of areas of my life. We talk about this on the podcast a lot, or we have had conversations about this a lot, about being content with where you are. And it said something like, you know, don't forget to stop your climb to enjoy the view, okay? Like enjoy where you are, you know? And so sometimes I feel like if I am constantly thinking, you know, okay, bigger, better, what's next, what's next, what's next? You know, am I really enjoying where I am? Am I not even enjoying, but am I appreciating? Am I fully like in the thankful moment that I should be in for where I am, which is a dream? You know, everybody can say that about their lives. And I just think that's so important. And I thought that was kind of profound, you know? It's not about having a certain kind of house. You know, you realize that very early on, you know, you want certain things, you worked for certain things, you want to live a certain place, you know, you want this, that, whatever it is, that you have a goal to get or to achieve or to accomplish, and or place that you want to go. You go there and it's nice, you get what you get, it's nice, you move into that house and you share it, but then it's like, well, now I got to pay for it, and life just, you know, the grind starts all over. Or whatever, you know, and I just feel like embracing kind of like simple moments. It doesn't mean you have to live like super simple and off the grid. It's just no matter what you're doing, just enjoy it, you know? So when I think about where I am in 5 years, and I felt like this for so many years, I really am content with where I am. That doesn't mean I'm stagnant. It doesn't mean, you know, years ago I would say, you know, I'm not begging people to subscribe to my channel. I'm so thankful that I have my channel. I'm not constantly saying, oh, I need to grow, I need to grow, I need more, more, more. Like, I'm just thankful for what we have. And I'm gonna keep doing what I do in an authentic way to grow and to keep sharing. But I'm not trying to break my neck to prove something to anybody. Do you know what I mean? And I think once you always hear people say, when you let go of like, you know, the need to please other people, or, you know, what other people think, or, you know, just feeling, you know, oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing that, for what? What do you want to do? You know what I mean? You know, set goals to do things that you want to do, but at some point, and maybe like, and I always say like Americans are just so always like the grind, the grind, the grind. Europe, you know, people slow down more. You know, they're having like wine and cigarettes on their coffee breaks and or lunch breaks, taking like big breaks. And like, you know, here in the United States, it's like the flex is to like, I'm grinding, I'm working. I think nothing's worse than that. Like, that's not the legacy like I want to leave, you know, is that like, you know, she was forced to work so hard, or, oh yay, they had to work so hard. You know, I mean, it's like at some point, I mean, maybe you're doing it wrong if you're having to do so much, like work and produce and do what you gotta do, but you gotta stop to enjoy, you know? So hopefully in 5 years, I would be so content. I would be so, not content, I would be grateful beyond belief if I were doing exactly what I'm doing right now. I mean, life is wonderful. So someone asked about this, about homes, and, you know, is there anything new that you want? What's your next bag? What's your next this? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I just feel that for me, as I've gotten older too, and I felt like I've always been like this a little bit, but those things don't really, I don't want that to reflect, you know, like I want to live, like there's that book I remember years ago, like The Millionaire Next Door or whatever, about like, you know, the millionaire next door like drives a Honda and, you know, is going to work and doing his thing, whatever, and that's fine, you know, and I mean, I like a nice car, I like things, you know, like whatever, it's not about that. But I'm just saying maybe like, you know, if you do get that promotion, if you do come into a whole bunch of whatever, you know, find success monetarily or whatever, like maybe don't just like throw that into something, maybe like save and invest. And, you know, we learned from a very early point that, you know, especially like working for ourselves, we're responsible for our own retirement, for our own healthcare, for our own this and that. And so saving had always been like a big thing, and we learned how to like invest money and stuff, and, you know, trying to be smart about our future. And so, you know, I'd much rather do that than be like on to bigger, better for what? For the gram or for like I'm not doing that, you know what I mean? And I love where we live, and I'm so thankful for our home, but things have just gotten so unhinged in just the optics of like what people think is normal and what home should look like, and, you know, what equates like success and wealth, or what's important, or, oh, you know, what your family should be doing, what you should be doing. And so I don't want anybody else to dictate that but me. Okay, does that make sense? But yeah, in 5 years, I would love to still be doing, I don't know, what, just being, you know what, it's not even like where I see myself, it's just happiness, you know, comfort. And I think too, sticking to I'll link to this, so good. Sticking to a mindset of contentment, of enjoying where you are, of, like I said, like enjoying the view from wherever you may be, I think is so incredibly important. And I'm looking for lipstick, and so much more, I feel, valuable than just being on to the next, putting you in a state of like stress. So that's better, I think, for your mental health, and, you know, but I would also like to be on a beach somewhere with like $3 billion. I'm just kidding, but not really. And it's, God, oh my gosh, in 10 years, Olivia will be 18. I think about this sometimes. I'm like, my kid is 8, she's gonna be 9, like in January, and it's like 10 years goes by like that. And you don't think it does when you're younger, because that's such a bit bigger chunk of your life. But then as you get older, like 10 years is like, and it just, and when you do think about what was going on 10 years ago, it's just, it's in a flash. Oh my God, and then like 10 years, like, will we be empty nesters? This is weird. This is all too much to think about, okay? So these colors I have really been into. This color called Very Victoria is one of the best lipstick colors of all time. It is nude, but it's a little darker nude. So good and matte. And then this color called Nude Look. It's good, and I know I'm saying a lot of nudes, but they're more like brownie nudes. I think I'm gonna use this today. It's just so perfect. I'm gonna use a little bit of lip liner. Someone asked about, let's see, what do they say? Any new home / rental projects? I don't know, no. We sold our rentals years ago, so we don't have any, which is nice. I was even talking to a neighbor, and they're like, why don't you move? Like, buy this, buy that. I'm like, now would be the worst time. Like, I wouldn't, no. If we ever bought another house or bought another anything, it would be when everything goes and we could get something for a good price and not have to sell this, which is exactly what we did when we bought this house. We bought it for like, when it was just very, very low. We would have sold our last house during that time, we would have gotten nothing. We sold it for like 3 times that much. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we kept it as a rental until the prices were literally through the roof. And if we could have, I always think like, gosh, even if we would have kept it for, it was nuts when we sold it for what we did, but I'm like, even if we would have kept it for another year, another 2 years, but you never know. That's the game. You just never know. But I'm, oh my gosh, but so happy that we got what we got. And then took that and said, okay, we could have sold that, or we could have taken all the money we gotten from that and we could have sold this, which we could sell this house for so much now, so much more. But then it's like, put that together, start all over somewhere else. Now, if we were to sell this house right now, we would make a lot of money, like more than what we put into it. But like, where are you gonna go? Like, things are so expensive now, you know? It's like you just be buying something the same. You wouldn't really be, and I'm like, I don't want anything bigger. There's things that I would like, you know, I would like something to be a little newer, or, you know, I'd like this bathroom to be a little more updated. Not this one, but like, you know, a certain bathroom in the house or whatever. Okay, well then just do that. You know, you don't need to buy a new house, and things aren't always gonna be like aesthetically perfect. You know, I'm not like building this luxury home from the ground up. You know, I don't know, like I'm happy where we are. I love it. And I just, you know, sometimes those things just seem a little like much, you know, it's just a little too much. But I really do. I like where we are. And I don't know. And I like that we're in a space too here where it's nice. It's worth a lot more now, but we can also maintain it, you know, even if we worked a lot less or things changed, you know. And I think that's I don't know. It's always a risk with work and with, you know, making money, and everyone, you know, we all have something to pay for. We all have something to work towards. And I just think that, you know, not overdoing it. That's just the biggest thing that I ever say. Someone said, financial advice for women, advice for a woman about to turn 30, things that you wish you knew. And for women, I mean, for anyone really watching this, start young. You don't have to think of like having a financial planner as when you're making tons and tons of money. You got to start early, and maybe talk to someone that's like, okay, when you do get that first really good job and you're ready to buy a house and you're ready to do all these things, don't just go to the bank and say, oh, how much can I afford? That's what you do. You get pre-approved. They give you a number. And then if you buy something for that number, you're not gonna have any money to save. So my biggest thing is always like, whatever they tell you can afford, cut that down, get something beautiful, have fun fixing it up, live there while you're saving some money, and then you're gonna be set. Like, you're gonna have this property that you could then sell for more. You could then, when you've saved a lot of money, put that money into buying something else, keep that as a rental, sell it in 10 years when the value is up. So I do feel like we kind of did learn these things early, not because we were smart or like experts, but because it was like this job of us like working for ourselves and paying taxes and having to manage your own money, you know, like it's not coming out, you know, your taxes aren't being taken out automatically. You're having to plan, you're having to, you know, have an accountant and have people, you know, help you with certain things. They then kind of led us into, okay, well, you know, you're going to need retirement. And this was like in our early 20s, someone was telling us this, you know? And so if you start young, no matter what kind of job you have, even if they're planning your retirement for you or whatever, you know, you've got like, you need to talk to somebody. And it's not going to look silly if you go into a bank and they're like, you know, or some kind of financial planning, and they're like, wait, they're not going to look at you like, oh, wait, you don't have a lot of money. They'll look at you like, okay, great. Like, let's get started. Like, you're being smart, you know? And that's my biggest piece of advice, is to start saving, which I know is easier said than done, but you can if you start living within your means. Don't overextend yourself. If you find that you have overextended yourself, do what you got to do to like plan to get these things like paid off or to take care of it. And then maybe, yeah, like sell your place and get into something that's more manageable. Or, you know, I mean, I would do that in a heartbeat, because your future is like all you've got. You know what I mean? You need to plan for those things. And women, you know, what'd she say? Like a woman about to be 30, you know, stay on top of your health, pay attention to you, and don't get lost in the grind of what our society kind of tells us to do, of you gotta grind, you gotta work, and then you don't wanna wake up even at 30, at 40, and think, wow, like so much time was spent doing something for someone else that I didn't even really enjoy. And we're all gonna work for somebody else. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying do something that you're enjoying. But when you clock out, you've got to have times where you clock out and where you really just focus on yourself. Go to the spa every now and then. Do self-care things at home. Do whatever it is that makes you happy. Spend time in nature, like take walks. I know I sound like such like a you know, but prioritizing how you feel and your happiness. And, you know, I had another question from a woman that I saw right under this one, mom guilt and trying not to let it consume when trying to take time for yourself, okay? Mom guilt is so real. Even if you're not a mother, this is something that is just, for me, always present. But I knew, like, when I first had Olivia, sorry, I just choked on this. I love this stuff. I mean, I don't know if it's like setting my, I don't know what it's doing, but I love it. The Beauty Elixir, smoothing, glowing complexion. I used to use this years ago, and I don't think I loved it as much as I love it now. Really love it. Okay. Just kind of like wakes you up, the scent of it. You know, you have to make those times for yourself. I remember when she was a baby, you know, as soon as I could do something, you know, I was out of the house, I was taking her places, I was, okay, Brad, you know, I'm going here. I'm leaving for an hour, you know what I mean? Or, you know, I'm gonna, even still now, if Brad's home, they're hanging out, I'll say, going through a drive-through, getting out of here, going here, going there, going wherever I wanna go. You know what I'm saying? Just even for an hour. Spend time with yourself. For me, I really do have to have time to myself, and I think that's so important. The mindset of getting out of the guilt is more so from a standpoint of saying, I am a good mom. I'm able to do these things for my family. It's okay if I do something for myself because I'm a good mom because of who I am. And if I were miserable, I wouldn't be as good for my family. You know what I mean? Your kids, and looking back even on my own life, you know, I love seeing my mom and my grandma, you know, take care of themselves and, you know, get themselves together and put on their makeup and feel good about themselves, you know? If they were always just like, oh, you know, I don't want to take care of myself, that rubs off on you as a kid. And not even about putting on makeup but just having a good attitude. And you'll naturally have a good attitude if you're in a good headspace, and you'll be in a good headspace if you're doing things that are making you happy. So do all the things that make you happy. Do whatever you gotta do, okay? Like, it's not a, it just, and I'm saying this as someone that, again, I'm literally saying this to myself. We've gotta stop with the like, oh, I can't take time for myself, or oh, I did too much for myself today. Like, you need to look at that as like a badge of honor. Like, you're good on you that you can do things for yourself. I think I've answered, oh my gosh, honestly, there's so many wish list items for fall or winter. I want to do a video soon about like handbags, about all these luxury items, about where this is going, how to like kind of, I don't know. But no, like I feel like you get to a point where it's not like you're filling a void or like, oh, I bought these things to make me feel a certain way. I had always dreamed, I remember from the time I was very young, like I wanted this kind of bag. Or, oh, I love a handbag, and it's a hobby of mine and I love it, and I'm not over them, love them. But at some point, when are you gonna be content with the collection that you got? If it's constantly just like, I need this one, I need that one, but I need a Birkin in every color, but I need a Chanel bag in every color. But wait a minute, I'm gonna go out, oh, I like that Chanel bag, just give it to me. That's fine. Okay, great, the dream. But I've always kind of planned like, okay, well, I want a nude one like this, or maybe I'll look for this, maybe I'll look for that, you know? Never just truly like on a whim purchases. But you get to a point where like, I look at my collection and I'm like, it is beautiful. It's a little bit, still I think I could narrow it down a little, because you naturally buy things, you buy better things. You're like, well, I don't use that thing. So you might thin your collection out a little bit. But I'm at a point where I feel like everything is so good. And it's because of a certain mindset. It's because of certain like checklists and in my mind, like certain things that I got and I want to do a video about that. Certain things that I think are done, certain mindsets that have to stop, certain brains that hold their value better than others. But the wish list items just in general, I don't know. I feel like I've got a lot of really great things lately. I do want to get a few more of these diamond, you know, the Melinda Maria Diamondette stuff. I want to get like a chunky pair of hoop earrings I have some that are diamonds from her, but I want to get like a small pair of chunky ones, and maybe just like a really pretty like diamond tennis bracelet. I have this one that I never take off, and it kind of looks like it hangs, you know, but it's a cuff, it's hard. I shower in it, I do everything in it. I believe it's gold plated. It's just really nice. It's held up beautifully. And that's a different brand. That's Miranda Fry, which I'll link to that too. But I want like a real chunky, like a big, like to wear with this, like big old chunker, flashy tennis bracelet. And maybe like a necklace. So I'm gonna look at her site because she's got some beautiful things. And I'm trying to think like coats or anything. I do want, there was a certain puffer jacket that I saw that I really liked. So I'm kind of on the hunt for like a certain one like that. It was Prada, but I'm like, that's insane. Like, I don't know. I mean, a jacket's something that you wear all the time. It gets wadded up in the back of your car. You're wearing it in restaurants, you're not washing it all the time. They can get wrecked. So I'm like, ugh, I don't want to, I mean, that's insane. But I kind of have a certain like shape of one that I'm looking for. So that's something. I feel like we're doing good though. Like I feel like we naturally kind of find the good stuff without just doing these huge, massive, crazy hauls. I feel like over the year we kind of sprinkle in good stuff. Before we go, I'll link to all of these things. Definitely grab this while you can at 20% off, and any of the Lancome stuff, I will link to that. So do that because it's only 2 days, today and tomorrow. So if you're watching this, get on that. And if you don't have this, I don't know what you're doing. Okay, so this is just typical fall. I feel like sometimes you look at fall makeup or people doing it, and it's just too much. It's like, okay, well that's obvious. You're obviously trying to pull a look. You know what I mean? Like it's like very orange or this or that, and I just feel like this is a good, like, everyday. But truly, you guys, this is my everyday. And you might think, well, that looks like all of your everyday. Yeah, because I'm not trying to do something that I'm not naturally doing, okay? This is what I'm naturally doing. But with, like, the highlight and with kind of the different things, this fox color, I used this the other day without even using the bronzing stick, and it was perfect. Okay, we're going very long here, you guys, but we are just chatting and talking, okay. Really good jeans. These are so, I feel like, nondescript. Like they're not too overly boyfriend. They're not doing something crazy at the top. They're not, but they don't scream like, oh, those are skinny jeans. Oh, those are dad jeans. These are just like nondescript, always work. The bottom, can you see the bottom? They're like kind of a little larger. They're not so tapered. Basic classic Levi's, so stretchy, so good. And then I have been loving this. I think it comes in another color. I showed this a while back. It's just so good. It's thin, so I feel like I can wear it now, especially like it's hot out, but inside it's freezing. You know, I just always like to be cozy. I wear sweatshirts most every day, like even like just with shorts, even when it's really hot outside. But this is such a good top. It's not scratchy at all. It's so buttery soft, but it is kind of like a little thinner weave. But it's gonna be perfect for layering in the fall. Okay, so you can kind of wear it now, but then you can layer something like better over it in the fall. But I just think it looks really luxe. It looks like a really expensive, like just a sweater that you'll have forever. And I love that it's a little more fitted because most of our sweaters aren't. They're like larger. And then hoops. I just put these on this morning before I even got ready. And even like with no makeup, you put on hoops and you're just like, ooh, like it just does something, okay? But you guys, that's it. I know that was just a lot of yapping, and I don't know. I have been wearing it year round, but for the last like several years, I would just wear it like in the winter and the fall. So it does kind of remind me of fall and winter, but I've gotten into just wearing it year round all the time, but it's so good. Anyways, you guys, I hope that you're doing well. I hope that you enjoyed this like realistic, just everyday fall look. I'm not going to like pull out some new palette or something that I don't normally use just to like create a moment, but I just truly wanted to show you guys what I use, what I love. And maybe we'll do another one using this one, the Ilia, but and that's what I honestly planned to use today, but I'm like, I had to go with what I genuinely wanted to do, So anyways, you guys, grab those. I'll link to everything. I will link to the foundation where you can go and grab that on sale. And I hope that you guys have a great day and that you are just like getting into fall. And listen to our podcast if you haven't. I know so many of you guys are over there. Definitely check it out. You are missing out if you're not over there. So many personal things, relationship things, personal stories. And of course, we talk real deep stuff on pop culture and inside things. And it's just really good. So it's just a little bit of everything. So we have so much fun. Come have fun with us, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye.